I've had numerous requests to react to SCP-000 by the SCP Exploration. I don't know much about this SCP, and this is the first reaction that I've ever done to any of SCP Exploration's channel, but I'd love you to go over and give him a sub like we always do. He's got a great channel. He's been covering SCP for a long time, and we gotta dive into 000 and see what it's all about.
There are thousands of creatures in the SCP Wiki,
Correct.
and each anomaly has its unique
There's
number.
tons.
And as far as we know, the first SCP is designated 001.
But there's a
However,
bunch of them.
not too many people know that if you look up slot number 000, you discover an actual file.
Oh.
So what is SCP-000,
Really?
and why does it even exist?
Yeah.
In this video, we try to answer this question.
That's
also,
interesting.
if you enjoy our videos, then please
Definitely,
subscribe
guy.
with
Hook 'em up.
notifications.
Hook 'em up,
you will
guys,
be
if you like
notified
this.
of our content, so you won't
Links
miss
will be in
any
the
of our
description
uploads,
and in the end
and you would
cards
help the
and
channel
in
a
the,
lot by doing so. Let's
what
begin
you
by
call,
reading
you
the
know what I'm
wiki
saying,
article.
the little
The
thing at the
first
top.
thing we see is how bizarre this file really is. It's designated object class no.
No.
Its special containment procedures do not
Undefined.
exist. The syntax is very weird, and the description
seem
details
strange.
an error. However, a note
Okay.
is to be found which explains this unexpected file. Alright,
Okay.
I'm sick of this. The system keeps kicking out repair tickets for this spot in the database, and I don't want to bother with it anymore.
So
I'm going
it's
to put
anomalous
suppression
itself?
on any tickets involving this
slot?
slot in the database because it's disrupting workflow
The
for
slot
actual
in the
problems
database
and
is
generally
actually
just pissing
anomalous?
me off. I don't know why it keeps messing with the syntax, but the fact of the matter is that it's only happening here, and considering that the only thing here is just a giant pile of junk data, it's likely that the database is messing itself over the lack of proper
I don't
information.
know.
If anything changes, I will definitely look into it, but as of now, this issue is closed.
It looks
and
like
in the
that
end, we
is
see that
actually
this
anomaly.
note was written by a level 2 researcher, namely technical researcher Rosen. Also,
Okay.
we are redirected to the agent's evaluation file, a document that informs us that Rosen is often described as inconsequential at best. His competency level is debatable. Rosen is not
Really?
believed to be proficient with the technologies he is certified in, and many
Okay.
of the support requests directed at him are often left unanswered.
Well, how can he
Furthermore,
not be
we learn
fired
that
yet?
Rosen lives out of his
The
office, a
Foundation
place
is
which
so
has been
strict.
evaluated as one of the filthiest on
Oh
record.
my God, he's
And
a
finally,
hoarder.
we learn that researcher Rosen believes that he is haunted by his predecessor, Patrick Gephardt,
Oh
a system
my
analyst
gosh.
who disappeared mysteriously on July 29,
Oh, he disappeared. He actually
2011.
thinks he's
And
haunted
ever
by him.
since, Rosen has filed hundreds of reports indicating that Gephardt is stalking him. Of course, Rosen has been unable to
wonder
provide
if
any proof of
Gephardt has
physical
anything to
encounters.
do with the
However,
actual
it is
slot being
notable that
corrupt.
no evidence has been found that Gephardt exited Site 19 after
This
his
is so
on-site
strange,
disappearance.
man.
As such, an investigation has been started. So as we
Yeah.
see, it seems that
So it's all linked to
SCP-000
though.
is some form of error caused by the Foundation's immense database, and researcher
Okay.
Rosen, the man who is responsible for fixing this, is too incompetent to do anything about it. So is this it? File number 0 is
I
a
don't
system
know.
glitch, and Rosen needs to be fired for his lack
Right.
of ability and apparent
know if it's a
craziness.
system
Well, not quite. This
Yeah.
is because this file has a secret. Because if we go all the way to the bottom, we notice quite a bit of empty space. And
Yeah.
indeed,
Is
if
it
we
white
highlight
text?
this space,
Aha!
we see some hidden text.
What
This
the
hidden
heck?
message is written in first person and expresses the thoughts of a man of unknown origin. This
Okay.
person appears to be trapped in some bizarre location, which is described as an endless white plain stretching across an equally blank
That's why
sky.
it's in white
Also,
text.
this man says that he can move for as long as he chooses, but the moment he stops, he is brought back to the initial spot as if he is
Oh,
tethered. Despite
that
of this,
sucks.
this man says that he has wandered wandered far and that he has been exploring this space for countless years. And in doing so, he has seen flashes of things, horrible monsters that should not exist. He describes them as abominations that appear for moments at a time, only to disappear as if they had never been there at all. And out of all these encounters, one incident stands out. On one occasion, a black shapeless being appeared out of nowhere and stared at the man. As the prisoner walked up to it, he could feel its rage, its hatred, and as quickly as it came, it disappeared, but right after it said foundation. Of course, this man has puzzled over the meaning of this word ever since. Is the foundation his creator, or is it his captor? And what did he do to deserve this? Of course, all of this slowly drove him mad, but there was something positive about this encounter. The man learned that he can speak, which was the only way he could interact with his surroundings. As such, he proceeded to do the only sensible thing, shout nonsense at the sky. In doing this, he created ripples in the air, something which led him to believe that he could shape the world around him with his voice. However, he soon discovered that no matter how loud he shouted and for how long, there were no permanent effects. There would be a great ripple, and then everything would return to the way it was. However, he did not stop and instead screamed until he couldn't scream anymore, at which point his only option was to weep. But the man did not give up. Instead, he swore to howl at the emptiness until one day his sound waves would rip open an exit, and until he learns the truth. Well, as we see, this is a very interesting story, but on first glance, we don't see how it ties in with SCP-000 and the database error until we discover something else. To begin with, the fact that this prisoner is trapped in an endless purgatory and the fact that he can't do anything but scream reminds us of a type of entities existing within the Foundation, pattern screamers. These are creatures which do not exist and are instead trapped in some sort of limbo. Also, they are aware of their non-existence and as such, despise the universe for existing, particularly the human race. And finally, the only way pattern screamers can be brought to existence is if enough people are aware of them simultaneously, in which case they will crawl out of the void and destroy humanity as revenge. Well, the person that wrote the note could definitely be a pattern screamer, and this would be consistent with his behavior and surroundings, but still, this does not explain who he is and where he is trapped. But luckily, the creatures this man has seen can definitely help us. This man saw an entity which said the word foundation, and on top of this, the prisoner often sees abnormal and scary monsters. This can only mean that the purgatory he is in is directly related to the SCP Foundation. Also, let's not forget that all of this revolves around SCP-000, a database slot which should be empty, but often spits out errors. And finally, we come to technical researcher Rosen, more specifically his predecessor. It is stated that his former colleague, system analyst Patrick Geppert, disappeared from Site-19 without a trace, never again to be seen. Also, let's not forget that Rosen reports being haunted by his predecessor. So if we piece everything together, we come to the realization that the hidden note was left by none other than Geppert, and that he became trapped in the Foundation's database, more specifically the SCP-000 slot. And of course, by screaming, Geppert creates the errors within the file, but unaware of the truth, Rosen thinks this is just a corrupted file. So what do you think? How did Geppert enter the Foundation database, and will he ever escape? Let us know in the comments.
That is genius and very well written. Wow. Guys, thank you so much for the recommendation. This was really, really good. It makes you scratch your head quite a bit. But tying it all together, SCP Exploration did a great job with this video, guys. Go drop him a sub. His link's going to be right there, as well as a couple other reaction videos that I think you'll love about SCP. Thanks so much for watching. As always, this is Zueljin signing off. We'll see you next time.